God, here we go.
I would like to welcome you all to the land of Brohio, where Rob and Nick are king.
Sitting here with our pants off.
Pants on the ground, just like the guy on American Idol, right?
Yeah.
Hat turned sideways, gold in your mouth. Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with the pants
Looking
on.
like a fool with your pants on the ground.
I'm the delicious Rob Diggity Dangle Dog. I'm here with the delicious Nickalicious. We are very happy to be here with you this morning on your commute, while you sit on the toilet, while you have sex with your friend's mom, while you change the baby. We don't know what you're doing. That's the cool thing about podcasts. You can listen to them anytime.
We're here for all those things, though.
We are. We're here for you in the dark times. We're here for you in the joyful times.
Yeah, if you're out of toilet paper, we'll give you a roll. We'll lend you our hands to wipe your ass if you want.
I keep on seeing that video going around Facebook.
Yeah, the toilet paper guy
of the old black guy. He's like,
yeah.
"Now listen here, real quick. You gotta pinch it, you gotta tip it over, and then you roll it down your finger.
You got to rip the corner off first,
and you wipe your finger.
You put your finger through the hole.
Yeah.
You wipe your ass and you scoop the rust out with your finger, and you use that little corner piece to clean out your nails.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's so gross.
Oh man. I think we talked in the Patreon episode. My daughter's doing this cool thing now where she reaches in her diaper and she grabs a handful of shit out and she hands it to you.
Yeah.
I can't break her of it. So the fingernail thing really gets to me right now.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Is it gay if you like it when your finger goes through the toilet paper into your asshole?
No, dude.
Okay, good.
God put the G-spot in the man's ass for a reason. There's ain't nothing gay about that, bro.
That's why I use baby wipes.
That's why I feel good. That's because the G-spot up inside your butthole.
And welcome to the Ohio podcast. We're already getting into it.
And we would like to say thank you to our new Patreon pledgers.
Yeah, thank you.
Starting off with Brandon Simmons. Thank you, Brandon, for your Patreon pledge.
Thank you. Then we got Jamie Chagola. You know your fucking
I was
name.
looking at this and I said, all right, I'm going to try and get ethnic with this, okay? I think I can do this one, Rob. I'm going to say it's Jaime Chagoya.
Chagoya.
You think that's right?
Yeah, I think so.
Jaime, thank you for your Patreon pledge. And next we have Jake. Let's put another shrimp on the Barbie. Jake Barbie, thank you for your Patreon pledge.
Glenn Donathan, not Jonathan, that's Donathan. Thank you very much.
Corey Mock. Corey, he made a PayPal donation weeks ago, and we keep forgetting about him.
Aw.
Corey also did this thing on the Butt Chuggers page.
Mm-hmm.
He said, tell me your favorite I don't even know what the fucking story was. He said, tell me your most embarrassing story or your coolest prank you've ever done. And if I like it the most, I'll buy you a pizza and send it to your house.
Oh, that's great.
That's the kind of stuff that's going on in the Brohio podcast closed group, Butt Chuggers Anonymous.
Get in there.
You can use the password Bill Wilkins to get in.
We're telling it to you, so if you don't know it, at this point in time, you're not getting in.
Corey Mock says, I don't have anyone to share a pizza with. I'm going to send you a pizza.
Might as well.
So sick of being lonely. So sick of being lonely.
Next, we have Leanne Samuelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. She sent us a message this week, I do believe. So thank you, Leanne, for your support. Morgan, please don't touch me there, peas.
And last but not least, we have Juan Lopez Solis.
I think you nailed it.
I think I did too.
No more chips, please. Sorry. Thank you guys for your Patreon pledges. You make the world go round for us.
Yes, you do.
We got live equipment. We're going to be real loud for you at the live show.
It's because of you guys that I can keep it up.
I can't.
We need a couple more patrons for that.
Yeah. And Rob, speaking of live shows, it's finally upon us.
4 days away if you're listening to this on Tuesday.
We have no idea how far away it is.
No, we don't. It could have already passed by the time you listen to this.
You're absolutely right.
You fucking ruined it.
This is going to be a good episode today. I think we're going to have a lot of people listen to this episode.
Hey, I hope.
Downloads were down last week. It's because we were taking off iTunes for a few hours.
Every time we do these fucking episodes, that we rattle the cage a little bit. Big Brother doesn't like that.
Turn the frickin' frogs gay. That's all it is, bruh.
That's all it is.
This weekend, Lucky Star Brewery, 8 p.m., Saturday the 20th, with Murder and Such. That's Hunter and Haley. They're a true crime podcast. You can go check them out. They're fantastic. We're gonna be there with all of our friends.
Yeah.
Our wives are gonna be there.
Yep.
If you want to meet our wives.
And why wouldn't you?
Stick your nose up their tails so I can punch you in the fucking neck. No, I said this in the last episode, that's me and my wife's dating anniversary, 11 years.
Aww.
So we're going to make love.
I got in trouble earlier because my wife asked if I remembered what our wedding anniversary was, and I had no fucking idea.
Really? Your wedding anniversary?
Yeah. I remembered the month that our dating anniversary was, but I couldn't even remember. I have the worst memory when it comes to birthdays. And
You're a high-functioning
dates.
autistic, though.
I really am. And she said it, and I was like, is it this month? Is it this month? Is it this month? She's like, no.
When they ask you, listen, here's some advice from the love guru, the delicious Nicolicious. Whenever they ask you a question like that you have no fucking idea what the answer is, you just gaze into their heart. You gaze through their eyes and into their heart, and you say, I want to eat you out from behind. And then when they say, no.
And that works for me every time.
And then you say, and then they're like, no. And then you run the opposite direction, like you've seen a spider, perhaps a boa constrictor.
Yeah.
Some type of animal that could kill both of you. And then she'll run too. And then you catch her and you say, what about me eating you out from behind? You're like, I want to eat you out from behind because I want to show you how much I love you on our anniversary. And then she'll say, yeah, that's fine. And you're like, all right, let's pencil that in. What date did you want to do that again? And then she'll be like, on our anniversary.
That works every time.
It doesn't work. It's never worked.
Yeah, it's never worked ever.
Tell them about the other show coming up, Rob.
The other show, which is a week from that show, is on the 27th of October. This is at 7 p.m. at the Firehouse Grill. This is called the
Brohio's Twisted Hillbilly Halloween.
Yeah, it's with Twisted Philly. That is Deanna Marie and Jerry and Tracy Pauly from Hillbilly Horror Stories, and that's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one.
As of right now, we have 77 tickets out of 90-something, so it's almost sold out.
It's almost sold out.
Yeah.
And how fun is our topic going to be, Rob?
It's going to be great.
Not that good, but it'll be good.
The second you mentioned it, I was just laughing over the name itself, so it's going to be great.
It's going to be so much fun.
I must have said way too many horrible things about that, but I kept my mouth shut.
It's all right. I do have a newspaper article for you this week, Rob. This comes from the way of the internets, AOL.com. I'm not sure where the fuck it came from.
Read it, Daddy.
A 32-year-old Erie, Pennsylvania woman has been killed after an overdose on meth caused her to insert a gas pump nozzle into her anus and begin pumping gasoline. Woo!
Whew, I like that.
God damn, put it in there, motherfucker. The woman, who is yet to be formally identified by authorities, is believed to have a record for multiple drug offenses in Pennsylvania. Officials who are involved in... Speaking of Pennsylvania, fuck you, Steelers. Officials who are involved in the investigation believe the latest incident was caused by the woman overdosing on methamphetamines. Quote, the victim has been known to abuse multiple substances, but her drug of choice is meth, said one investigator. According to witnesses, the woman ran across several lanes of traffic to the gas station and grabbed a pump nozzle before pulling down her skirt. Horrified motorists looked on as the woman proceeded to shove the nozzle into her ass and begin pumping gas into her ass. Oh, that feels good. This is in the article, Rob. Quote, oh, that feels good. She's said to have called out to onlookers who were too shocked to attempt to stop her. Hey, get that nozzle out of your ass. You're going to die. The woman...
Look how loud you are.
It's fine. The woman continued to pump gas until the cashier activated the emergency stop. Oh, she spent $7. She doesn't have any money in that skirt. She later collapsed onto the ground. Paramedics were soon on the scene to provide assistance. However, the gasoline had flooded the woman's internal organs after it was absorbed through her rectum.
Ugh. What an overachiever.
Quote, the gasoline entered her bloodstream and had a toxic effect, shutting down her key organs.
You think?
Said one doctor who tried in vain to treat the woman when she arrived at hospital. Unfortunately, there was nothing we could do for her.
But she was going 0 to 60 in like 10 seconds then.
If we were a right-wing podcast, you'd say, oh, fuck goddamn fucking drug addicts, let them fucking kill themselves, let them weed themselves out, fucking kill themselves. If we were a left-wing podcast, we'd say, she needed help and no one heard her cries for help. But we're the Brohio podcast, Rob. We want you to live your best fucking life. If you want to get fucked up on meth and drink gas with your ass, then fucking do it, okay?
Just do it.
And then whenever it comes time to salute you, we will.
Don't blame on us or whenever we start laughing about it, though.
Hold on a second.
Okay, I'm holding.
In the arms of the angel, so far away from here. Yeah.
I like that.
Rest in peace, baby girl.
She took one for the team.
How fucked up. I've never taken meth before, but that shit sounds like fun. Walter White, you were doing God's work, okay? Don't let people fucking cramp your style.
I wonder how she had to get the nozzle in her ass. Because those things are tilted upwards and angled like this. So I wonder if she had to turn it upside down to get it in there.
Oh, my favorite part is it says, quote, "Oh, I feel so good." Well, I feel that unleaded 87, $2.69 a gallon going straight up my asshole. Pump it. God damn it. Fuck, $3 a gallon in my fucking ass.
Fart a flamethrower.
Drizzle, drizzle, drip, drip. This is going to be the most expensive booty you ever ate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Premium. It was probably diesel fuel.
Oh, man.
I like lifted trucks and dip, and I like women that don't shave their assholes. Also like to go fishing. I got my truck lifted because my dick's so short that I can't see it past all the hair. So I lift my truck up way high. I got big old mud and tires on it. I like to put some stuff in my back pocket, make a little ring in my jeans there. Well, I want to talk about tractors and trucks and corn, making corn into whiskey, and I drink the whiskey with my mouth. We make Everclear on my dad's farm. I ain't never had a real job before. I'm 27. I still live with my parents, but they got a fishing pond out there and shit.
Just steal tires for a living.
I got a truck, man. You gotta use you gotta use an 8-foot ladder to get in my fucking truck. I'm 8 foot tall, and you gotta use a 9-foot ladder to get to my dick.
So stupid.
What's going on here, guys?
Fuck.
We're calling this episode The Ghosts of Alcatraz.
Oh.
Ooh. I was hoping to find something for the beginning of the episode, like "Welcome to Alcatraz Island," but I didn't find it yet.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to make it in there or not.
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know.
We're not professionals by any means.
We are not professionals. We leave the gas ass chugging to the professionals. We do not condone drinking gas with your ass.
R.I.P. baby girl.
I got that gas ass right now. I think it has a lot to do with the $1.99 Kroger chicken patties I had for lunch.
Ooh.
I said, you know what? I'll give these a try. And I took a bite. I said, you know what? I don't think I want to give these a try anymore.
That was a bad call.
You guys should make these free.
You never know the horrible decisions you make until after you made them.
You should pay me to take these. I think I already said it. We're calling it The Ghosts of Alcatraz, Rob.
Yeah, we are.
I had to pause and save and
answer the phone call from your wife.
My wiggity wife called me. Wiggity whack.
We're husbands first.
And if you've never heard of Alcatraz before, it's a bird sanctuary in southern Florida. Where, speaking of Florida, those southern states, our hearts, prayers, thoughts are going out to all the people affected by the hurricane. Man.
Yeah, it's horrible.
They're not getting the fucking help they need down there.
No, I saw some horrible pictures from it, and the place is completely wiped out.
Listen, I have many vices. It includes crack cocaine, dick, heroin.
Yeah.
Just spare a pack of cigarettes or a can of booze, whatever your bad habit is, and just, shoot $7, $8, $10 down there to one of the relief funds that is going towards.
Yeah.
They need fucking clothes and water. Just think about all the stuff that these people are, they need right now. So,
it's horrible. It's really sad.
It is mightily horrible. But at the Bro Ohio podcast, we are thinking of you. We are sending all the love and all the best. I hope Donald Trump comes down there soon and fixes all your fucking houses. I saw him down there today.
Hey, who knows? He was local. Was he here the other day?
He was in Lebanon.
In Lebanon? Yeah, I thought so.
He was over there grabbing by the pussy.
I couldn't remember if he had already been here or if he was going to be here.
Yeah, he was here.
I don't pay attention to shit like that.
Yep, he's our president. Anyways, initially, the Alcatraz, the island of Alcatraz. Initially, this was, and I said it was a bird sanctuary in Florida. Not true. It's a federal prison on an island just off in the San Francisco Bay. Okay, it's it's one of the many landmarks of the United States of America. You see it, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's locked up pretty tight. You're literally on an island.
Yeah,
and surrounded by shark-infested water.
And it's since been defunct. They've shut it down. It's part of the National Park Service now. You can go there for one low payment of $31, I believe, is what it costs to go over there.
That's nothing. That's probably the cheapest thing you can do in San Francisco.
It is. I know. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do in San Francisco, and that includes getting your dick sucked from behind from another man. If that's what
that includes going into the bathroom and dropping your pants to your ankles while you're pissing.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Initially, this was an island. It was discovered by Spanish explorers that named it. That's Mexican. Named it after the amount of birds that were on the island. So they didn't instead of naming it Big Pile of White Shit, they decided to name it Alcatraz.
It fits so much better.
They saw all the birds. They said, hey, look at all these birds. We should name this place fucking Alcatraz because all these birds. I don't know. I can't think of a better name for it. So let's name it Alcatraz because all these beautiful birds. In 1846, it was purchased by the government, just like everything else during that time. And in 1850, old Millard I Fucked Your Mom Fillmore ordered that...
That's my porn name.
Millard Fillmore?
Yeah.
Milford Fillmore.
Fillmore of me.
He ordered that Alcatraz be set aside specifically as a military reservation. It was used as a major defense for the Bay during what? What we have coming again soon, the American Civil War.
It's only a matter of time.
It's already started in Chicago.
Yeah.
If you're at any
Thanks,
location,
Kanye.
at any locale in the United States of America, you can hold up a seashell to your ear and you can hear the ocean. But also, if you raise a 40 up in the air, you can hear gunshots in Chicago right now. Try it. If you're drinking a 40 right now, the only fucking rational person I know that drinks 40s is Justin Rimmel from Mysterious Circumstances.
That man needs his 40s.
He posts pictures like, I'm drinking, and he posts a picture like Colt 45. I'm like, are you trying to fucking die tonight, pal?
Mad dog.
There's people that like you. You're handsome. You have children that love you. And here you are drinking that. You might as well insert a gas nozzle into your ass and pump gasoline into your asshole.
He posted a picture of him and his brother, and I was like, damn, man, their fucking parents must be ridiculously good looking because both of them people are fucking sexy bastards.
I'd waller his mom out for sure. I haven't even seen her.
Can't wait to see you on the 27th, buddy.
Yeah, I love you. And it's now the island here, it was used to hold Confederates that were captured during the Civil War. And that plays into the haunted aspect a little later on. So keep that in mind. They would not only was it a federal prison, like in its heyday, it was a large federal prison. Before the federal prison was even built on the property, it was used to house all of these Confederate soldiers that were captured. In 1867, the first brick jailhouse was constructed. Sorry, I got a little sick tongue.
It's okay.
And they no longer utilized the basement of the guardhouse, which is where the prisoners were kept before that. And in 1907, there were some major updates to the property. I think they built the lighthouse. They built a lot of the buildings that would later become Alcatraz. The United States disciplinary barracks on Alcatraz were acquired by the United States Department of Justice on October 12, 1933, and the island became a federal prison in August 1934, the year that your grandpa made sweet love to your grandma and made your father. Now, whenever it did change hands to finally becoming a federal prison, it housed all the shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
It was a disciplinary camp.
It was like the inescapable prison.
It was very inescapable because if you climb the walls, well, we're from California. If you climb the fucking walls, dude, and you get out to the water, you're gonna get eaten by a bunch of fucking hammerhead fucking sharks, dude. We even got some fucking great white sharks out there, dude. So don't, if it's high tide and you're out there trying to surf back to freedom, don't fucking do it, dude. You get 3 squares a day in here, dude. You get fucked in the ass in the shower, man. Just keep on waking, do your time for your crime. Wait till it's done and get the fuck out of here, dude. How was that for a California accent?
I like it. I think that's pretty dead on.
Do they all talk there?
I think so.
I sound like the fucking turtle in Finding Nemo.
He was the best.
He was.
He was so chill.
Hop on, little dad.
I liked him.
At 9:40 a.m. on August 11th, 1934, the first batch. Very specific, Rob. Very Pacific. Mm-hmm. Right there by the Pacific Ocean.
Hey.
See what I did there?
Ooh, I see. That's a good
wow,
one.
God. He's shifty.
Nick's on all day.
He's real shifty for a fat guy.
This is what he does.
The first batch of 130. First batch of 130.
First batch. They're just cooking them up.
We got a batch of prisoners, and we got a batch of edibles over here. Whichever one you want to put in your mouth and swallow.
You just cook them up 350 degrees for 20 minutes. You got yourself a batch.
The first batch of 137 prisoners arrived at Alcatraz.
Can you imagine those first 137 people coming out to a fucking island prison, and they're like, "Damn, we fucked up bad."
They drive. You think you're going to a prison? You pull up, and they're like, "All right, dude, everyone get on the boat." And you're like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
It's like the opening scene to Harry Potter: Sorcerer's Stone, where they have to fucking cross the lake to get to the castle.
How in the fuck?
They're just looking up like, "Oh my god."
Oh man! It says they arrived by railroad from the United States Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas, And they also came from... No, they arrived at Santa Venetia, California. And I probably pronounced that incorrectly.
It looks right to me.
Santa Venetia?
I think it's Venetia.
But this was before they were being escorted to Alcatraz, handcuffed in high-security coaches and guarded by some 60 special FBI agents, U.S. Marshals, and railway security officials.
I want that job.
They said, if you going to try and get away, we're going to stick a fucking gun in your butt, and we're going to blow your dick off. That's right before we blow your dick. That's why I work here. I like guys.
Hi-oh.
That's why I'm a prison guard. I'm a pecker inspector.
Nuts and butts.
There are 336, quote, mainline cells and 42 solitary confinement cells in the cell house. The prison was never filled, though, and the average population was about 260 men. The highest occupancy was 302 convicts. That is not a lot of inmates, Rob. That is not, not many people at all.
That's not a lot at all.
My dog's up there barking. I don't know if you people heard that or not. I'm sorry. There were notorious bank robbers and murderers. They pretty much took the worst of the worst from everywhere, and they put them in this fucking place. But 300 guys. Now, the prison I worked at, I think there was around like 10 cell blocks or something like that, and it was 300 inmates per cell block. So we had roughly 3,000 inmates at this prison I worked at. And this is only 300 inmates, which seems completely manageable to me. But there was, I guess, when you take into consideration the characters you had at this place, I can see why they had the numbers.
Yeah.
They had to keep the numbers so low.
Yeah, if you got a bunch of the worst, then yeah,
fucking assholes.
It could add up to a bad time.
Bunch of fucking assholes. Now, the wardens were James A. Johnston and the associate warden, J.E. Shuttlesworth, were both considered to be Iron Men.
Okay.
Big old strong guys. Pick you up over your head and lick your butt. Real strong, real wide chests and stuff.
I like those kind of guys.
The staff were highly trained in security, but they were not trained in rehabilitation.
Yeah. Why would they be?
They were trained in giving you some motherfucking act right, but not teaching you how to act right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
they'll be there to throw them bows, but not to help you, pat your back when you're crying.
Yeah.
They'll be there to throw them bows, but not teach you how to get them hoes. You know what I mean? That talk sweet to them hoes. Now, tell them about some of the famous inmates they had there, Rob.
This is the who's who of inmates. We have Mr. Al Capone, Robert Franklin Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. You got George Machine Gun Kelly, not the rapper. This is where he got his name from, the gangster.
This beard is weird. This beard is weird.
Somebody grab him some clippers. Bumpy Johnson, which is what I call my dick after a long weekend. Rafael Cancel Miranda, a member of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party who attacked the United States Capitol building in 1954.
Oh, lumpy bumpy.
You got Mickey Cohen, Arthur R. Doc Barker, that's a really long name, and Alvin Creepy Carpus, who served more time at Alcatraz than any other inmate. And with a nickname like Creepy,
No.
What do you fucking think?
I was watching some videos on YouTube, and there was one, I guess, very rehabilitated gentleman that was doing interviews about that place, and he was there for a long time. I can't remember his last name for the life of me, but he was like, and then there was actually there's a guy on YouTube, and he tours Alcatraz, and they give you headphones that you listen to the tour, and he plugged the tour audio into his camera so you could walk through Alcatraz and hear the tour. So if you type in Alcatraz tour, it's this like scruffy bearded white guy. He does it, but the guy that narrates the tour, he was served there for a long time in prison.
Yeah.
But he said, and then there was old Alvin Creepy Carpus. We knew he was creepy because he always walked on his tippy toes.
What the fuck? That's like the definition of a creep. He has a pencil mustache and he just walks on his toes.
Hey, get off your fucking tippy toes, you dick.
He has the T-Rex arms.
Yeah. It's prison, though. I mean, walking on your tippy toes can mean a lot of different things. You fell in your cell and you hurt your hip.
I'm sure if you get fucked in the ass by Bumpy Johnson enough, you're gonna walk like that.
Oh no, Bumpy, please not again. Jesus Christ, that thing has teeth on it. The yellow stuff's you, Rob.
Oh, well, fuck. During its 29 years of operation, the penitentiary claimed that no prisoner successfully escaped. Now, a total of 36 prisoners made 14 escape attempts, 2 men trying twice. Good for them. They don't give up. 23 were caught alive. 6 were shot and killed during their escape.
Bang, bang, motherfucker.
2 drowned, and that would be the fucking worst. You get out, you successfully escape the prison, but then you drown in the ocean. And then 5 are listed as missing and presumed drowned. So, who knows there? Now, because the penitentiary costs much more to operate than other prisons, nearly $10 per prisoner per day as opposed to $3 per prisoner per day at Atlanta, and half a century of saltwater saturation had severely eroded the buildings, then Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy ordered the penitentiary closed, and this is on March 21st, 1963.
Was Robert the one that got shot in the head in Dealey Plaza?
No.
He was Ford Theater, right? John Wilkes Booth?
John Wilkes Booth? Yeah, that was him.
Okay.
Now, in addition, citizens were increasingly protesting the environmental effects of sewage released in the San Francisco Bay from the approximate 250 inmates and 60 Bureau of Prisons families on the island. That year, the United States Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois, on land opened as the replacement facility for Alcatraz.
We were up there in Alcatraz and D-Block eating corn, just blowing shit into the ocean.
Shitting all you could.
Clogging up the seals. Seals are out there swimming around eating all of our corn shit.
Can you imagine just sitting on the coast of San Francisco and just looking out there with binoculars, and you just see a big shit tube spraying shit water everywhere?
A big turd monster out there bobbing around, like waving its arms.
Help. I just got off Alcatraz, I need help.
Now, Alcatraz was a disciplinary camp, and I can't emphasize that enough. This place was meant to break you. Mm-hmm. They put it in place so you would question your sanity, and they did all kinds of things to attempt to break you and attempt to, I guess, I've heard that when you go into the Marine Corps, the object of boot camp is to completely strip you down.
Yeah, reprogram you pretty much.
To start from nil and reprogram you into like a fighting machine. And I think the object here was to break you down and I guess send you back out into the general public as a new person, I guess. Now, the prison I worked at was a disciplinary camp, and they would take the worst inmates from all over the state, wherever they were at. If you can't conform, you would get sent to the place I worked at, and that was the same thing here. They would take the absolute worst of the worst, and they would put them all in one spot. And for me, that seemed like the dumbest thing you can do.
Yeah.
As far as trying to get a large group of people to act decent. We're like, okay, we're going to take all the bad ones, and we're going to put them all in one spot. It's like when you go to the dog pound to look for a dog, and they're all like, like biting the fence and shit. You're like, these dogs are all fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And then you watch TV, they're like, oh, rescue, don't buy. And you're like, well, I just went to the fucking dog pound. They're all 3 years old, and they're pissing on me and trying to fucking bite me. I don't want one of these goddamn dogs. I want the $3,000 fucking mini poo from the mall, okay? I did rescue one of my dogs. So before you people start fucking trying to slash my tires and key my car, one of my dogs is rescued. The other one's from a breeder. So I just want to put that out there.
I don't judge. It's your money. You do what you want with it.
All right. Absolutely right.
Fuck it. It's not me to say. So going into the next, we're going to go into kind of a description of what their cells and their life was like a little bit inside the prison. Now, each of the cells in America's first escape-proof prison
Wrong.
measured about 4 by 8 feet.
They were tiny, dude.
That's really small. Yeah, that's really small. They had a single fold-up bunk, a shitter, a desk, a chair, and a sink. So an inmate's day would begin at 6:30 in the morning. They would be awoken.
Whatever. I know what you mean, dude.
Yeah. And then given 25 minutes to clean his cell and stand up to be counted. At 6:55, the individual tiers of the cells would be opened, and the prisoners would march in a single file line to the mess hall, where they'd eat their food. They were given 20 minutes to eat, and then they were marched out the line and sent out for work assignments. The routine never varied and was completely methodical. So that's their day in, day out.
And there was like a main corridor here. They called it Broadway. there was just like a main strip that
So fitting, Broadway.
Yeah, they would walk down this main corridor of the prison. So in people's minds, I don't know how you would picture a prison like this. There's pictures of this prison online, a lot of pictures, obviously, but the main corridor here, this is where all the inmates would walk down to go to chow. This is where they walk down to go to their jobs. And this, when I say this was a main corridor, I don't mean like this was just a hallway they walked down. There were prison cells that line this corridor here. And the funny thing about this Broadway area, these cells on the bottom, for whatever reason, the inmates that got kept in there, a lot of them were kept in there asshole naked. So
why not?
Yeah. So I could have that wrong. I could have read that wrong, but I know some of the cells on that ground level where everyone walked past, you had to lay in there fucking asshole naked. Now and speaking about the guards, they were all fucking demented shitheads.
Of course.
There was just, I mean, when you walk into, the advice I got when I worked in prison was say what you mean and mean what you say. So if you say, go back to your cell or I'm going to put a fucking knot on your forehead, and the guy's like, man, I'm not going anywhere, then you put a fucking knot on his forehead. And that's the only way you can command respect in prison. You know, this is a different time then. And I feel like this was a different setting than when I worked in. So these guys, there was probably no remorse from these fucking guards. Like, sometimes you get caught up in a guy's story and you're like, all right, this guy has kids and a family, and I'm not 100% sure that he is guilty.
Right.
Where in this instance here, these guards are like, fuck you, and they just take a flapjack and smack him in the fucking head. This, to me, feels like that's the kind of prison it was. It just,
I believe that, yeah.
Walk around hitting guys with fucking sticks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one place of punishment was the single strip cell, quote, strip cell, which was dubbed the Oriental. They call it the Oriental.
Okay. It's a little racist, but
no, I'll get to what it means here in a second. This dark steel encased cell had no toilet and no sink. There was only a hole in the floor that could be flushed from the outside.
So they even had control of flushing on
the
COs did. That's great.
Could you imagine the precision that it takes to shit in a tube on the floor?
Could you flush my hole, please?
I tried to stomp it in there, but I got it all over the fucking cell in here. Can you come in here and help me out with it?
And that's when you make your getaway. When the guard keeps walking by like,
God, your cell smells like fucking shit.
And you're like, oh, I tried to get it in this fucking tube in the ground. I poop in this tube.
They're just shitting in the corner like hamsters.
Throwing it. Oh, Jesus. Now, there was, right, as Rob and I just said, it can only be flushed from the outside. Inmates are placed in the cell with no clothing and were given very little food. And they called it the Oriental because when they did get the food, they had to eat it off the guard's dick.
They said, come and eat your lunch off my chopstick.
And that's why they called it the Oriental cell, Rob.
Eat this egg roll.
I got some fried rice on my dick right here. If you like fried rice. Or maybe you like dick. Either way, I got either one of them right here for you, buddy. Right here at Alcatraz Federal Prison. I'm going to get you a bite.
Now, the cell had a standard set of bars with an expanded, and it really was called the Oriental cell. They didn't really have to eat their food off the guard's dick. Some of you don't know what's going on.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could.
Yeah,
but.
Absolutely. That is always there. The cell had a standard set of bars with an expanded opening to pass food through, but a solid steel door enclosed the prisoner in total darkness.
Oh, okay, even in darkness.
Yeah, they were usually kept in this cell for 1 to 2 days. The cell was cold and completely bare, save for a straw sleeping mattress that the guards removed each morning. This cell was used as a punishment for the most severe violations and was feared by the prison population.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
To be locked in complete darkness.
Yeah, and freezing, because that concrete's that shit's cold.
And right there at the bay, dude, I went to San Francisco in the middle of the summer, in the like 9 o'clock at night.
You got the ocean breeze, man.
It's
That
so
shit's
fucking cold. Your nutsack freezes to your thigh, and you have to chisel it off with an ice pick if you want to save your nutsack.
Oh, I believe it.
And what these cells are called, we call these double door cells. We had these, and if you assaulted staff, if you did a stabbing, a violent act of some type, you got put in the double door cells. Now this one, they turn the fucking lights off, so you're in complete darkness all the time. And there was one inmate that did an interview I watched, and he said to keep from losing his mind, he said he had his dress coveralls in there with him, and he ripped a button off and he would throw the button in the cell, and then he would drop down to his hands and knees and crawl around and try and find the button, and then rinse and repeat. That's what he would do to fucking keep from going crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Then there was the regular hole. Yeah. There was a lot of those. They had it was far more common to go to the, I guess, the regular hole. This was opposed to the double door deal.
Yeah. So it's typically your typical admin seg.
Yeah. Now, one of the commonalities of going to the hole was getting beat. So anytime you went there, you just got your fucking shit stomped in. The hole, as they called it, was housed in D block.
They call that dick block.
And these guys, they would scream while they got beat by the guards. So no matter what you did coming in, you just got fucking beat. Now, I think from my experience, I worked the hole all the time. We would bring guys in, and I didn't really ask what they were in there for. And I would just, do a strip search and put them in their cell. But if there was 8 motherfuckers following him in, beating their goddamn head, like beating his head, that means he assaulted a staff member. Yeah. That's usually what that meant.
Yep.
And once they started screaming during the beating, everyone in the block would start screaming too.
You're getting your ass beat, ain't you, motherfucker?
And wailing would be heard all throughout the prison. Sounds like a camaraderie type thing right there. Now, men leaving the hole men leaving the hole would leave completely senseless and bordering insane. And men, as we said before, leaving the hole, they would have to go to the prison's hospital ward for mental health issues. They would also leave with pneumonia and arthritis. I don't know how you contract arthritis so abruptly, but I thought that was like a long drawn out thing,
Yeah, you would think.
Let's dig into some of the speaking of the mental health stuff.
Okay.
Tell them about this wild shit right here.
Yeah, and this is was it Graveyard Shift by Ranker? Is
Yeah.
where we got it from?
Yep.
All right, now, at some point in the 1940s, an inmate began screaming as soon as he was locked inside, but guards ignored him, believing he was just upset about his conditions, which, like we said, they would scream. Yeah, that's what they did.
There's no toilet in here. All I have is a fucking hole. I got shit.
The next morning, they found the prisoner dead with a terrified look on his face, and an autopsy revealed that he had died from strangulation that could not have been self-inflicted. So whether it was a guard who killed him, or a ghost, possibly of the former prisoner Rufus McCain, since he had stayed in that cell, we'll never know. But many report feeling uncomfortable and tingly when entering his cell, which was 14 Dick D. The room is often much colder than any of the others, and a ghost hunter investigating cell 12D down the hall reported feeling icy fingers in his asshole, on his neck upon entering.
Yeah, and they say D block is by far the most, as far as paranormal activity in the prison. D block has it going on.
That's everybody got their ass whooped.
So damn baby got it going on, and damn D block got it going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they do.
And there was, I can't confirm this, as I've never been to Alcatraz. There was a super hole.
This is the hole that no one has ever seen before. This is the super hole.
This was below D block. This was an old dungeon from the Civil War times. I guess if you did some really fuck shit, I don't know how fuck shit it has to be.
Yeah, this is the dungeon.
This is you done fucked the warden's wife or some shit like that.
Yeah.
She was down there by Cemetery Terry's cell. She was walking by and he reached out. She was walking by trying to tell the inmates words of encouragement. She was just walking by Cemetery Terry. She said, "Hey, I hope you enjoy and you stay here at Alcatraz." And I reached out and I grabbed that bitch by her pubic hair and I pulled her towards my cell and I kissed her on the mouth with my tongue. I said, "Cemetery Terry ain't no bitch. I'll make out with anybody in this motherfucking prison, even if it means I gotta make out with the warden's wife." You know what I'm saying?
Fell for his booby trap.
I reached out then I wrapped her pubic hair around my hands like I was gonna punch somebody with some brass knuckle pubic hair, right? I wrapped him up and I said, "I ain't gonna let you go, bitch. This is my vagina hair now."
He's my favorite.
Cemetery Terry, he was sneaking through the prison there. He was all sneaky setting booby traps. And someone stepped on his booby trap and they slipped. And they broke their knee and their dick on Cemetery Terry's booby trap.
It'd be the worst day ever.
Now, in the super hole in the dungeon, prisoners were stripped naked, chained to the wall in a standing position, and given a blowjob. And they were given very little food, while the screams of the inmates who were unfortunate enough to spend time there couldn't be heard in the rest of the prison. They can still be heard today. Help me! I heard one just there.
I heard it.
I heard it too. Now, a worker claimed to have heard a horrible scream coming from the dungeon, but found no one there. So this place is fucking haunted, Rob.
I would imagine so. This seems like the perfect environment for a good haunting.
If I was a ghost and I wanted to kick it, why not do it with an oceanfront view?
Fuck yeah, no.
Sharks swimming around. Cemetery Terry's there.
The super hole.
The gang's all here.
Chilling there with Bumpy Johnson.
Chopsticks, eating food off the guards' wieners.
Crab Rangoon out of someone's asshole.
Oh, no.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
The first years of Alcatraz were known as the silent years. I don't like this idea right here.
Yeah.
And during this period, I would have failed miserably. The rules stated that no prisoners were allowed to speak to one another, sing, hum, or whistle. You there! Talking was forbidden in the cells, in the mess hall, and even in the showers.
You can't even conversate in the showers. God damn
I
it.
really wanted to tell you how nice I thought your dick looked, but I know we'll both get beat up, so I'm just going to whisper it to you here underneath the mist of the hot water. Think you have a beautiful pecker.
The inmates were allowed to talk for 3 minutes during the morning and afternoon recreation.
3 minutes.
Bob had a baby, it's a boy. And for 2 hours on the weekends. Oh.
You're gonna limit talk time. That's so fucking crazy.
They only get 3 minutes. Bob had a baby, it's a boy.
You have a collect call from Bob and a baby, it's a boy.
Yeah, you have a collect call from Mom, practice is over, come pick me up. Oh, I guess Al Capone, he had a real problem with talking. He was a fucking jokester himself.
He's a jabberjaw.
And he got in a lot of hot water there in the early years there because he just wouldn't shut the fuck up and he was constantly getting in trouble. So here's to you, Al Capone. And here's to you, Rube Percival. Tell him about Rube Percival, Rob.
Rube Percival, he was a former gangster and a bank robber who was working in one of the shops when he picked up a hatchet, placed his left hand on a block of wood, and while laughing maniacally began hacking off the fingers of his hand. Then he placed his right hand on the block and pleaded with the guard to chop off the other fingers as well. Now, he was placed in the hospital, but not declared insane.
You like that, baby? There's more where that came from. What the fuck, man?
Oh man, this guy.
You ever seen those pain Olympics on the interweb where the people like cut their wiener and then peel the skin back?
Right, chop their balls in half and stuff.
Yeah. That's something I would not want to do right there.
No, thank you. I'm good.
That seems pretty stressful.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
After a visit to the island, author Mark Twain, distant cousin of Shania Twain, said it was a cold ice even during the summer months. So he said that, even while it didn't matter, you went to this island, you felt this horrible feeling. And I would imagine going to a place like that and just being consumed by the darkness and evil that surrounds a place like that. And we have some EVPs later on in this episode we're going to share with you guys. So there's definitely some paranormal activity going on there. Mm-hmm. And that's and some people are probably tuning in this episode wanting to hear a lot about the escape from Alcatraz, specifically the 3 gentlemen that possibly got away.
Yeah. We'll
talk about them a little bit, but I think that specific incident would call for its own episode in itself, Rob, because it's quite the twisting, turning conspiracy, as we like to call it. Now, I would like to touch on a few horrible incidents that occurred at Alcatraz, and first I'm going to start with the Battle of Alcatraz. Now, the Battle of Alcatraz, which lasted from May 2nd to May 4th in 1946, was the result of an unsuccessful escape attempt. Now, the guys that tried this escape, they had their fucking shit together, okay? Their shit was tight. They knew exactly. We looked at the pictures of their buttholes, and they were really tight buttholes. But they had a well thought out, very methodical plan. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they had a good idea here. Now, it started out as an escape attempt by Bernard Coy, and Bernard Coy is the major player in this story. He was a famous bank robber. And I did get most of this story and the research from Wikipedia, So please keep that in mind when you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Through his role as a cell house orderly, Bernard Coy noticed a flaw in the prison's security. Firstly, that the gun gallery at the west end of the cell house was protected by bars with no additional mesh or barriers. Secondly, the corrections officers in the gallery had set routines that allowed the convicts to predict when the main cell block and when the gallery would be unobserved. And now, whenever I worked in prison, the inmates knew that you made staggered rounds every 30 minutes. So some, you know, you'd hit him at the 22-minute, then you hit him with a 27-minute, hit him with a 28-minute. But it was never exactly at 30-minute intervals. It was always staggered intervals. So these inmates, they knew that, but these guys, it sounds like they had a pretty set, like, you know, and there was a gun gallery in the cell block there. So this is, for those of you not familiar, it's almost like a crow's nest way up in the air in the cell block that housed a guard with firearms. And if something got out of control,
I wish I had firearms.
Yeah, he would just start fucking killing people, all right? Now, May 2nd, 1946, Coy had used his position as an orderly to really get the guards' habits down. On this day, most inmates and staff were away from the cell blocks, helping operate the different workshops used as the prison. So during the day, the prison was almost like a ghost town because all of the inmates were off doing their jobs. There weren't a lot of inmates in the general population cells. One inmate arrived back from work and was being patted down to be let back into a cell. Coy attacked the officer along with the kitchen inmate that was being patted down, ultimately overcoming the officer. Now, they didn't kill him. They did take him, they held him captive. They released a couple other inmates at this time that would assist them in their escape. There was a gun gallery at the end of the block, and they knew there was a weak flaw in the bars. They used a spreader and opened the bars.
Hey,
I need to get me one of those, baby girl.
They used a spreader and opened the bars, and Coy slid through the bars, thanks in part to the starvation that he inflicted on himself in preparation for this escape. So he knew it was going to be hard passing through there. But he says, I got
that's some good planning right
the
there.
doctor's medicine for this one. I'm not going to fucking eat. He made it through the bars and sent rifles, handguns, and smoke grenades, keys, and billy clubs down to the other inmates. Now, they then moved to D block next door and used the gun to get the officer to cooperate. That officer and the other one prior were placed in cells in D block, and the other inmates that weren't escaping returned to their cells as well. Now, you have to remember that D block housed all the segregation inmates. So these motherfuckers were about it. They were like, we're getting out.
Yeah.
We're not getting out of our cells. We're getting out of this fucking prison.
These are the bad apples.
Yeah. Now, the escapes, they needed to secure the key to the yard door of the prison, from which they expected to make their way to the island's dock to seize the prison's launch. The boat docked daily between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. The plan was to use the hostage officers as cover as the prisoners made their way to the dock, then San Francisco and freedom. One of the officers they stole keys from, he actually had the key that they needed, but while they were trying all the different keys to the yard door to get outside, they fucked the lock up and jammed it up. They didn't. Now, the officer actually faced a lot of disciplinary because he wasn't supposed to have that yard key, but he didn't want to have to to bother the guard that was in charge of opening that door when the inmates were coming and going.
Right.
So he just kept the key on him. And one of the biggest things they teach you when working at a prison is fucking key control.
Key control. Yep.
You got to keep your keys on you. If you leave your keys laying around, you're fucking terminated instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have the lockbox. They have to be in there if they're not in your hands at all times. There's the big fucking keys too.
Yep.
Things are massive.
Yeah, we have the same ones.
Yeah, big fucking brass keys.
So he fucked up. He left the key on his ring, but the inmates fucked up even more. They jammed the lock. So at this point, by jamming that lock to the yard door, they were trapped in the main cell house for good at this point.
Idiots.
They decided, since we're not going anywhere, we're just going to shoot this motherfucker out. We're going to fight, okay? We're going to trade lead with these motherfuckers. We're not going anywhere, so we're going down in a blaze of glory. If I'm an inmate at Alcatraz, there's probably no chance of me going anywhere eventually anyway. So just just lay it the fuck down. Or maybe just fucking go out in a blaze of glory like these guys did. Now, guards kept walking into the block as part of their routine checks, and they eventually had 9 officers held hostage from the 2 they started with. Associate Warden Ed Miller went to the cell house to investigate, armed with a gas billy club. Now, this is from my research, okay?
That sounds like a bad fucking thing.
I don't know what a gas billy club is. This is like maybe just walking around with a billy club that's on fire, like, I'm going to whip some ass.
It's just a billy club, and it has like a gas canister launcher at the other end.
I like to, those like things you can get you take the dog park that like throws tennis balls. Like, I think it's one of those that just throws farts at people. Hey, you down there! Like the fart gun.
Every time you hit somebody with it, it just farts.
It splats.
Got you. It hurts and smells bad.
Hit me with an onion fart. Oh my God, I'm staggered. Now, Associate Warden Ed Miller, he came across inmate Bernard Coy, who shot at him. Miller retreated, and by now the alarm had been raised to let the surrounding areas on the coast know that, hey, there's something going on here. Yeah. And there's nothing better than the sound of an escape siren coming from a prison or jail.
Oh man,
Did you guys have them at the county?
Not that I've ever heard.
Okay.
There was somebody that I remember. I don't remember if y'all was there. No, yeah, I wasn't working that night, but there was somebody that got out.
Really?
Yeah. He just left out the front door with the people that were getting released.
Smoke weed every day.
He was in holding and just went out with them.
Peace out.
Yeah, I think the release officers got in trouble that day.
That's great. No, there was escape sirens in my prison. Every day they tested them, and they were like,
I remember what it was. It was just a mistaken inmate.
Oh, okay.
They thought he looked like somebody else that they had paperwork for, and he went along with it.
But then that's me.
But then he got charged with escape after that.
Oh,
you done fucked up.
Yeah. Inmates that were helping Coy were Joseph Kretzer and Clarence Carnes, and those were the 2 inmates that were freed from D Block. There was also Sam Shockley and Mirren Thompson. They were also released from D Block. Now, Shockley and Thompson urged Kretzer, who had one of the guns, to kill the hostages in case they testified against them. Kretzer opened fire on the officers, wounding 5, 3 seriously, including Bill Miller, who later died of his wounds. Carnes, Shockley, and Thompson then returned to their cells, but Coy, Hubbard, and Kretzer. I think Hubbard was the kitchen inmate that helped with the initial attack.
Okay.
Coy, Hubbard, and Kretzer decided they were not going to surrender.
At this point, I mean, fuck it.
Why?
I mean, you're already an associate to murder, so I mean,
you're from America. You go for gold, okay? You're not.
Right.
We're not here for second or fucking third place. We're here for first place. All
go
right?
fucking big or go home.
Yeah, and one of the guards that were held hostage, he started to write down the names of the inmates. So there, I guess, after this is all the dust had settled, there would be some names and to put with the faces as far as prosecution and who to beat the fuck out of after this is all said and done. Now, that night, the inmates killed another officer that entered the gun gallery around 6 p.m. Mind you, these there were never, like, the big rule of thumb was there were never guns in the cell house. Well, these inmates, they got guns in the cell house. And they had fucking rifles, they had handguns, grenades, and they were using them to their advantage. So they were fucking about it for sure. A warden finally broke down and called 2 platoons of Marines, and their generals were Vinegar Joe Stilwell and Frank Merrill. Now,
Vinegar.
how fucking awesome and hard of a general do you have to be for your nickname to be Vinegar?
Nobody fucking likes vinegar.
You could kiss my mouth, but you taste my dick. It tastes like vinegar.
Vinegar
is repulsive.
but it tastes good on French fries, so I'm not mad about it.
By itself, though, it's...
Dude, I remember in the first grade they did like this sensory test, or like, practice your senses. They would make you touch stuff and smell stuff and drink stuff, and they would put fucking, like, they would plug your nose and you have to drink stuff, and kids were like, "Oh, I got Kool-Aid," and the one kid's like, "Oh, I think I got some rich chocolatey Ovaltine." And I took a drink of mine, like, "Fuck! What the fuck is that? Fuck!" And the teacher's like, "Oh, you must have got the one with vinegar." I said, "How about I fucking stand up and punch you right in your fucking nasty pussy lips?" I didn't really say that, but that's to this day, that's what I think. That fucking bitch made me drink. She was a substitute teacher also. I still remember her.
This one tastes like my uncle.
Yeah. Why does this one taste like my dog pissed in my mouth? Because it is dog piss.
Because it's dog piss.
Sit down, Nick. Fuck, man. Don't ever drink vinegar. Don't ever fucking...
Oh, I can imagine it's horrible.
Oh, God. It is bad. So old Vinegar Joe Steelwell and Frank Merrill, they said we're going to get it in. With the power out that night at around 10 or 11 o'clock, unarmed officers entered the cell house. Now, these aren't Marines yet. These are still the guards. And I said that word pretty fast. Unarmed officers entered the cell house.
Okay.
Because the rule was there was no guns allowed in the fucking cell house.
Yeah, yeah.
But these guys had rifles, handguns, and grenades. But we're going to send these guards in. And they were covered by armed officers in the two gun galleries overhead.
Still, it
is very fucking... That's
idiotic at all. I don't care what your rule is at that point. Fuck your rule. Take these guys down.
I've played a lot of Call of Duty. I know this is not good what they're doing right here.
Right.
They found the hostages. However, one officer was wounded by a gunshot fired from the roof of one of the cell blocks. They locked the open door. Now, the officers, once they got in, they locked the open door to D-block. When the last officer reached safety, the officers opened a massive barrage from machine guns, mortars, and grenades on the prisoners within D-block, where the prison authorities erroneously thought one of the armed convicts was holed up. Now, there's varying accounts on this. Some of the inmates that were involved in this Battle of Alcatraz, they said the officers just, once they got into to D-block, there was nothing that set them off. They just started fucking shooting motherfuckers, trying to kill everybody, just like... And they had fucking mortar rounds and grenades. They said but you got to think that that correction officer brotherhood, man. I think at this point they'd already killed 2 or 3 officers. So these guys are coming for blood at this point. They're sticking together. They're trying to wipe these turds out. But me and Rob, I don't know why it is, but I think we pull for the bad guys sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't know why.
It's fun.
In this instance, I don't think I'm pulling for the bad guys.
No, I'm good.
They eventually figured out that the rebellious prisoners were confined to the main cell house and seized their attack until further tactics were worked out. They finally decided that, hey, we're going to hand it over to the Marines. The few, the proud, the Marines. They devised a plan to get them into a corner using tactics from the Pacific War they used against the Japanese. So these are patent and perfected things they did to kill the Japs at this point.
We know it works.
And they drilled holes and they dropped grenades to get them into a corridor. And they just, they drill it out and drop the grenade in there and blow them out.
I think it's a pretty accurate sound effect there.
On May 3rd at about midnight, the convicts phoned, or I think this was at noon.
Okay.
Yeah. On May 3rd about noon, the convicts phoned Warden Johnston to try to discuss a deal. Johnston would only accept their surrender.
Good man.
Later that day, a shot was fired at an officer as he checked out C Block's utility corridor. That night, a constant fusillade. Is that right?
Fusillade?
Fusillade?
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, fuck it.
Was fired at the cell block until about 2100 hours. The following morning, squads of armed officers periodically rushed into the cell house, firing repeatedly into the narrow corridor. At 9:40 a.m. on May 4th, they finally entered the corridor and found the bodies of Kretzer, Coy, your main player here, and Hubbard, deceased. Myron Thompson and Sam Shockley were executed in the gas chamber at San Quentin on December 3rd, 1948, for their role in the Battle of Alcatraz. Carnes was given an additional life sentence, but was eventually released from prison in 1973.
Wow.
However, he breached his parole conditions, was sent back to prison, and died there from complications from that HIV, a.k.a. AIDS, in 1988.
Womp, womp, womp. Mama, oh, don't do that to me. No, don't do that.
Increased security measures ensured that there were no more escape attempts until 1956.
You just bummed me out so hard.
It's all right. And you can't say bomb and talk about AIDS and Freddie Mercury all the same time, okay?
You should be ashamed of yourself right now.
In 1976, this was in the same area that a night security guard in this this main corridor here. But in 1976, this was in the same area that a night security guard reported hearing unexplained, eerie clanging sounds coming from inside. Are you all right, Rob?
No.
Are you really upset now?
Mama! Ooh.
He'll be all right, man. He's got a movie coming out and everything. Everyone comes back for their movie. Now let's.
Didn't mean to make you cry.
I know.
I hate you for
so
that.
majestic. Now let's get to the paranormal stuff here, Rob. Now, so here we are, the paranormal stuff, Rob. There's all types of doom, death, and despair. It's no wonder there's trapped souls and trapped spirits of this place having a hard time passing over.
I get that.
Trying to, it's hard to talk to God when your hands are. It's hard to. I saw this on Facebook. It's hard to touch
Your dick.
Wait a second. It's
You're
hard to.
fat.
It's hard to touch God if you're too busy masturbating.
Well, I don't think God would want you to touch him at that point, anyways. You even put on a hat, man. Look at you.
I know.
You're fast.
Did I? Oh, I didn't have one on before this.
I don't think so.
I probably knocked it off.
I don't know. Fuck, I don't remember now.
You knocked it off.
I just don't look at you.
I did just find this hat on the floor and put it on.
Okay, good.
Okay, we're fine.
Okay, good.
The guards that used to work there reported moans, whispering, footsteps, and grown men sobbing. There was also terrible smells, which could have been from the shit pipe that was on the floor that was not flushed.
The giant hole.
Who knows? There was also a well-known beast.
There was a beast
That roamed the facility that they called the Thing.
Oh, that's ominous.
Yeah, it was an entity that appeared, and when it did appear, all you could see were the glowing eyes of
Hope
this
you're going to say
beast.
testicles.
So on the paranormal front here, why don't you touch on the first story here?
Oh, I would
Rob?
love to touch all over it.
Okay.
Lots of guards on the island claim to have seen phantom soldiers that marched in the property. Now, reportedly, even Warden Johnston, who did not believe in ghosts, said he once encountered the unmistakable sounds of a woman sobbing after leading a number of guests on a tour of the prison. Now, the cries heard by not only the warden but also the guests were described as coming from the insides of the walls of the dungeon.
That's what I tell my wife. I said, I'm about to come inside your walls.
And the dogs are going crazy right now, so that means Miss Alexander must be here.
Yeah, let's pause it.
And just as the sobbing stopped, an icy cold wind blew through the group. Top dollar sound effects here. During a Christmas party at Warden Johnson's.
The mouth that just made that sound effect is the same mouth that kisses the tip of your wiener.
That's why you're so good at blowing. Now, several guards told the story of a ghostly man who suddenly appeared before them wearing a gray suit, brimmed cap, and sporting mutton chop sideburns. He was fashionable. I like this. As the startled guard stared at the apparition, the room suddenly turned very cold, and the fire in the Ben Franklin stove was extinguished. Less than a minute later, the spirit vanished.
Getting the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm. On fairly, okay, there you go. On fairly foggy nights, guards and visitors claim that the lighthouse that no longer... What?
It's the lighthouse that no longer stands.
Okay, there we go. I was like, what? The lighthouse that no longer stands will appear out of nowhere, and that would fucking freak me out.
Yep.
Accompanied with flashing green lights and a scanning spotlight, it will appear in a flash.
Oh, God.
Now, when the prison was still open, other guards told of hearing phantom cannon and gunshots, accompanied by screams there we go, that were so real that they sent the seasoned guards to the ground, believing that the prisoners had somehow escaped and obtained their weapons.
Jeez, man, that's some PTSD shit right there, buddy.
It really is, yeah. Now, after taking cover, the guards would then cautiously look about to see absolutely nothing. These incidents could never be explained.
That's fucking wicked, isn't it, dude?
It is.
Another often reported experience of the guards was the smell of smoke that often came from a deserted laundry room. There was an old pair of underwear that sat in the corner that would just put off these brown clouds. Now, this smell, it came from the laundry room as if something was on fire. When they went to investigate, the black smoke was so thick It drove the guards from the room. However, just minutes later, the room was completely smoke-free. But then after a visit from psychic Sylvia Brown, which you can reach out to her, 1-900-555. She's probably one of those fucking TV psychics. She made a pass through the laundry room there. She felt a very intense presence in the laundry room in cell block C, and also received an impression that something very violent had happened there. Brown accurately described a tall, bald man, the exact appearance of a prisoner named Abby Maldowitz. Maldowitz was also known as Butcher and was a hitman before he was arrested.
See, if you have a nickname, that's the kind of nickname you want.
Yeah, not creepy.
Yeah, not
We know he was creepy because he was always walking on his tippy toes like he just got his shit pushed in.
or Bumpy Johnson. Like, you don't want that name.
They call me Bumpy Lumpy Cock. You want to see why? Now, they called him Butcher as he was a hitman before he was arrested. Prison records indicated he had, in fact, died in the laundry room when he was brutally murdered by another inmate. Other mysterious incidents from the same room include the heavy smell of smoke in the air, even though nothing is burning. And that takes us to D block, which I said is probably the most infested when it comes to these spirits and paranormal activity.
Right.
Cell 14D, one of the whole cells, is believed by some to be very active with spirits. Visitors and employees have reported feeling a raw coldness and have claimed that at times a sudden intensity encompasses the cell. Tales have been told of an event in the 1940s when a prisoner locked in 14D screamed throughout the night that a creature with glowing eyes was killing him. The next day, guards found the man strangled to death in the cell, which ties into that story from
That's crazy, yeah.
from before.
Yep.
No one ever claimed responsibility for the convict's death. However, the next day, when doing head counts, the guards counted one too many prisoners.
Ooh.
Some of the guards claimed to see the dead convict in line with the other inmates, but only for a second before he vanished.
Ooh, spoopy.
Yeah, he's just standing there all dead and shit.
You need some sun, man.
Then there's also Al Capone. This place is said to be haunted by the ghost of Al Capone. Now, Al spent his last years at Alcatraz with his health in decline from untreated syphilis. Now, he took up playing the banjo with a prison band. Fearing that he would be killed if he spent his recreational time in the prison yard, Capone received permission to spend recreation time practicing his banjo in the shower room.
Do you remember that one kid named Al Capone?
Dude, he was at the prison.
He was at the jail whenever I was there.
He was in complete lockdown. He was a heavy hitter of some type.
Yeah, they had him in lockdown at the jail too.
Yeah. In recent years, a park ranger claimed he heard banjo music coming from the shower room. That's a good indication to get the fuck out of Dodge.
They're trying to wash your ass. And like, oh shit.
Yeah. Not familiar with the history of Alcatraz, the ranger could not find a reason for the sound and documented the strange event. Other visitors and employees have reported hearing the sound of a banjo coming from the prison walls.
I wouldn't know whether to scream or dance.
Yeah. It's a goddamn hole now. Now, Al Capone, they said that he had a fucking target on his back as big as Alcatraz.
Oh, I would assume he would.
He couldn't go anywhere. He was attacked several times. I think he was stabbed at one point.
They probably had to keep him in admin seg just to keep him from.
He was a fucking wise guy, though. He would talk the shit. He would talk the talk.
I'm sure a guy like that can back it up too, though.
But they said he was a really good fighter. In his pictures, he looks like a little guy, but they said I think I might have read that he was actually a big fucker.
Really? He just looks kind of
he
round.
Does. I think he would be one that we could probably dedicate an episode.
Oh, I'd love to.
Sure.
I think that'd be great.
Now let's cover some. Before we end this episode, we're gonna put in some EVPs we picked up real quick here.
Yeah, I like that.
We got some good ones here, so let's tune this in real quick. Now this is a YouTube video we've gotten from Anthony Anderson. He's got some EVP stuff from Alcatraz from 2010. This first one is from the main jailhouse. So this is what they call Broadway, and he seems to think this EVP. He's caught it saying thank you.
Just coming to say hello.
Thank you.
I don't know, man. I'm not buying that one.
I don't like that one, yeah.
And this one's our favorite right here, Rob. The guy says, "Is there anybody here with me right now?" And then the EVP says, Tony. It's like a fucking.
But it sounds like an old lady.
It's like goblin. It's a goblin.
Yeah, it's Schmeagol.
It's Schmeagol goblin. I don't know, but it's like Tony. Listen to it.
Is there anybody here with me right now?
Here he comes again.
I like the guy's voice because he's like he almost has that sex talk voice.
Yeah.
He's like, is there anybody here right now?
This is from the Birdman cell of Alcatraz, Robert Stroud, and he says, "Well, this is where they hear the fucking owl. There's like a howl, and then the EVT says bullshit." So listen for this one. Bull crap. Oh, I'm sorry. Bull crap. It's saying bull crap is what he thinks it says. Bull crap. And the next one's taken from cell block A. This is the old solitary confinement. I'm going to pause this one real quick. So this is a park ranger. This one's actually pretty scary. The ranger says, "While you wait," and then the EVP says, "Hell take me."
That's scary.
And you can hear this one pretty well. So I'm gonna turn this the fuck up just a little bit for you. He says, "Hell take me." Ooh, yeah.
That one's more audible. That one's by far the most believable of them all.
Oh, this one's my absolute favorite.
Yeah, this is a good one.
The EVP says, "I want to grab a baby."
Yeah, this one's creepy.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's. Ugh. Ugh.
Well, you're in fucking luck because I've got 3 of them. And here's my other favorite one.
They're all slow.
The ranger says, "We're in the main building," and the EVP says, "Mean."
Oh yeah.
Like you guys are here and you're being mean.
It's like musical. Mean. He's got a nice vibrato there.
That is good. This is from the hospital pharmacy. I'm stopping this one because this is pretty fucking stupid. So,
All right.
yeah. But there was I think I have another one that is pretty good. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. In this one, they catch the EVP saying, "They're going to kill me."
Ooh.
So here it comes. It says, "They're going to kill me."
At some time. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3.
My stomach has gotten upset. Whose room was this? Whose cage?
Right there at the end.
You can hear it.
"They're going to kill me." There was another one I found that was super creepy. It said "Finders Keepers,"
Oh God.
and I gotta find it. Hold on. All right, I found it. He said, the investigator says, "I'll come back and talk to you again later." All right, and then the EVP says, "Finders Keepers."
I'll come back and talk to you again later. Alright?
Oh yeah.
That was a good one, right?
That was a good
I'll
one.
come back and talk to you again later. Alright?
Finders Keepers.
Yeah, I can hear it.
It's a pretty scary shit.
I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit.
I don't like it at all.
All right, and the one thing, so that concludes our episode here. But the one thing I did want to touch on,
Touch it.
I will touch all of it real quick.
Touch it, baby.
So you've heard the story of Frank Morris, John Englund, and Clarence Englund. Those were the 3 that are famed for the escape from Alcatraz.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that made the paper mache heads and laid them in their beds and chiseled out down to the underground corridor, I guess. Now, I thought that was open and shut. Like those guys either got eaten by sharks or they just didn't know. But we can dedicate an episode to those guys. After researching this, I found out that recently there were relatives of them that had come forward and that had pictures of them from the farm that they run in, I want to say Puerto Rico or Brazil, something like that. But these guys are operating a farm somewhere, and they gave the pictures to forensic specialists, and they did where they match up the faces, like the same thing they did with bin Laden when they shot him. And these forensic analysts said, yeah, these two guys, which they're like older, it's like in the 70s the picture's taken. Mm-hmm. The forensic analyst said, yeah, that is absolutely positively the two guys that escaped from Alcatraz, undoubtedly. And to go a little bit further with that, the family said that every year, so we're speaking specifically about the two brothers, the Anglin brothers. Mm-hmm. Frank Morris, no one fucking knows, but the Anglin brothers, every year their mom would get roses and a card on Mother's Day from like someone named Johnny, and no one knew who Johnny was, but every year she would get cards and flowers anonymously on Mother's Day. When she passed away, there was I think of two women. I want to say, I might have it backwards, but at the mom's funeral, there were two very manly women that showed up, like fucking caked with makeup. Just absolutely caked in makeup. They didn't talk to anyone. They just walked up to the casket. They cried and cried, and then they left. And then also, when the Anglins, their father died, there were also two men with like fake mustaches and all kind of like a weird giddy up
in disguise
that showed up to the funeral as well. Walked up, said their condolences, cried for a while, and then left. So
suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Very.
Undoubtedly, I think those guys lived. I do believe, and I would love to dedicate an episode to them. But if that's something you guys want to check out, go check it out. That's the escape from Alcatraz. That concludes our episode for the Ghosts of Alcatraz. I feel like this was a fun episode. You learned some cool stuff about Alcatraz. We are beyond excited for our two shows coming up.
It's going to be such a good time. I can't wait.
The most awesome thing for us is getting to meet you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys are what makes the world go round for us, and we really look forward to putting a face with a name, because we do dedicate a lot of time to the podcast and engaging people, and it's cool to finally meet people to know that you're not just a fucking screen name on the internet.
You get to actually see that there's real life people actually listen to us.
You really love us.
You're real.
For the Lucky Star show,
once again, there's no cost for that. So if you're in town, if you're anywhere near, just come in, say hi, have some beer, have some really good food. They have really good food. My wife is super excited about the food there. Really good shit there.
It's a fun place.
It's a really fun place.
Cozy.
And
they brew their own beer. They got the brewery sitting right in the middle of the fucking dining room.
It's great. We got like 12 tickets left for the show on the 27th.
Oh yeah.
Just come out, see us, say hi. We'll have a drink or 10 with you.
We will.
Man, maybe.
And there's murder and such as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
And one of my kids come here, Sophie. You can come in. Oh, she left. All right.
No, never mind.
Interrupt in the studio. So thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We love you so much. I think we're gonna do a Patreon episode.
Yeah, and hopefully we see you in the next 2 weeks.
All right, love you.
Love you.